folks, I promised I would tell you what a Goldman Sachs economist is predicting for the next 12 months, given the fact that Eric Cantor has said now, yesterday, the day before, he came out and just said it right out loud, right in front of the whole world, that President Obama's jobs bill that would put tens or hundreds of thousands of people to work and would reduce the unemployment rate and would get the economy going again and prevent a double dip, that he will not, that Eric Cantor and John Boehner will not even bring this up for a vote in the House of Representatives. They won't even bring it up for a vote in the House of Representatives. So Goldman Sachs, one of their chief economists over at Goldman Sachs, this is from CNBC, actually, and I'm quoting it from firedoglake.com, from Jane Hampshire's blog. The obvious risk of our non-recession forecast is that the slowdown in growth and the associated deterioration in the labor market is going to start feeding on itself and pushes the economy into recession via the stall speed dynamic. This is from Jan Hatzius, Goldman's chief U.S. economist. Now, stall speed, when an airplane is flying at a certain speed, there's enough lift above the wings, lifting them up, and enough pressure underneath them, but mostly it's lift above them, to keep that airplane in the air. When you slow down to a certain point, the lift falls off to the point where the plane will no longer stay in the air, and it's called the stall speed, and it's identifiable. You see, the old J3s would stall out at around 38 miles an hour. I learned how to fly in a Cessna 150. It would stall at about, I think, 75, 72 miles an hour. The Cessna 172, Louise and I used to fly a lot. It would stall around 80 or 90 miles, or knots, as I recall. And, you know, the bigger the plane, the lower the stall speed. And even big jets, actually, some of them have fairly low stall speeds, you know, around 100, 120 knots. But when he talks about stall speed dynamic, what happens with a plane, with an airplane, if you're flying a plane, what happens is typically one wing will stall before the other does, because you're never flying directly into a wind. You know, straight into it. You're flying at a slight angle. So actually slicing through the air, one wing is going slightly faster than the other. So the slower wing, the wing that is kind of downwind, that's the wing that will stall. And when it stalls, it literally becomes like a dead weight, and it falls, and the other wing still has lift, and so it flips the plane upside down. As the plane flips over, it starts pitching forward, and then you have what's called a stall spin. It's a horrible thing, and you know, half of pilot training is learning how to recover from one. And in fact, I remember the first time that when I was learning how to be a pilot, this flight instructor, he was walking me around the plane. He had this rolled up USA Today that he was whacking his thigh with like a nervous habit. And, you know, we were checking the oil and checking the gas and the flaps and everything and making sure everything kicked the tires and whatnot. We got in the plane, and I was wondering, you know, why has he got this newspaper? He takes me up to around 6,000, 7,000 feet, puts a hood over my head so I can't look out the window, and starts putting little spongy things, little sticky things over the instruments on the instrument panel. So he covers up my speed indicator, my airspeed indicator, so I can't see how fast I'm going. And he says, just keep it straight and level. And then he covers up my artificial horizon. So now I've got to keep it straight and level with this little old-fashioned thing from, like, you know, 1900 or something, which is just a little tube with a white marble in it. He covers up my you know, the magnetic compass. He covers up the artificial horizon. He's covering up my rate of climb indicator. He's just covering up all my instruments. Pretty soon I've got nothing. And then I feel him pulling the yoke back, and so the nose is going up, and I can hear the wind outside going slower and slower and slower. It's slowing down, and you know, it's shh. And I said, you know, hey, we're slowing down. We're climbing, and we haven't added fuel. We haven't added power. We're slowing down. And he's like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just keep climbing. And so we're climbing, and all of a sudden the stall horn goes off. That goes off 5 or 10 miles an hour before the stall speed, before the plane stalls. And it's right in my ear. It's going, whap, 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 like this. And I said, we're going to stall. He pulls the yoke all the way back. The nose of the plane goes straight up. The right wing stalled. The plane flipped over on the side, straight down to the ground. It's spinning around in circles. He reaches over, pulls the hood off the top of my head, and takes this newspaper that he's got and starts beating me over the shoulders with it, screaming, we're in a stall, we're going to die, what are you going to do, what are you going to do? And at that moment, I had to remember, step on the pedal for the high wing, right? Step on the rudder for the high wing. Anyhow, that's what a stall is. So now I hope I've made it real for you in a way that you understand at least the economy. But and haven't produced PTSD for anybody. So once again, listen to what Jan Hatzius, the chief economist for Goldman Sachs, says. He said, this could start feeding on itself. This recession that we're in other words, unemployment. You have states that are cutting back on spending. They're laying people off. The federal government is going to lay people off. So fewer people have money, so they're not spending it. They're not spending it. They're not buying things. They're not buying things. Companies aren't making things. They're not making things. They lay people off. More people get laid off. Fewer people have money. So anyhow, he says, this could start feeding on itself and push the economy into recession via the stall speed dynamic. And then he goes on to say that could take unemployment up to 9.5%. And if that comes without recession, it would be the first time in history that the unemployment rate has risen by more than 0.035 percentage points without a recession. In other words, if history is any indicator, next year is going to be a really, really rough year. Not massively Great Depression-ish rough, but it's not going to get any better. And here's the president out visiting city after city after city, saying, please pass my bill. Here's clip number 3. It's just a quickie. It's a 10-second clip. Here's President Obama yesterday.
I agree with Ronald Reagan that it's crazy that a bus driver pays a higher tax rate than a millionaire because of some loophole in the tax code.
There you go. And I tell you, after I did that pilot training, the first commercial plane I got on was a small plane. And you walk by the pilot, and I says, "Hey, if you get in the stall, I know what to do." He thought that was the funniest thing. Anyhow, we'll be back with your calls after this, and I've got to share some more of President Obama and President Reagan.
You're listening to the Thom Hartmann Program. Call 866-987-THOM.
27 minutes past the hour. President Obama quoting President Reagan, and the Republicans are freaked. They don't know what to do.